Hi Tom, how you doing?
I am doing well, Jane. How are you?
Yeah, long time no see, huh?
Yeah, couple hours.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Hi
Darren.
Darren.
Hey everybody. Happy fall.
Yeah, we're back to this again, huh?
Back to this again. Well, you guys been at it. Back to me again, I guess.
Did you enjoy your summer?
I did. We had a good summer. The second half was better where it didn't rain as much. Now the
Hmm.
rain's all back. Hopefully you guys can't hear that rain in the background too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting it here too.
Oh. Well, actually, I'm here in Wayland today.
Okay,
Next week I'm in Pennsylvania, but today I'm in
got it. Home.
Wayland today. Hey Jane, really quick, can you make sure you forward to my Wayland email address? I think you've been sending it to my Gmail.
Oh,
Yep.
all right, I'll double check that. Yep.
I forwarded a bunch of them because I still can't access Gmail on my work computer. I can do it from my phone, but not from my computer.
I'll check that. Hi Jared.
Hello.
I'm forwarding them. I didn't see the financials out though, right? You didn't send that, I don't
Yes,
think.
I did. I sent them
Oh, you
all on one big, they
Um,
were all in that one big one.
all right. Let me relook here.
It might have been yesterday, the day before.
I'll do the search for Jane. There it is. I didn't forward that one. Okay. There it is. Okay. I missed that. Okay. Damn it. Darn it. All right. I'm forwarding that.
Mike, how are you?
Okay,
D-Bach. Gotta get my. I always forget if it's Bach D at Wayland or D-Bach. I gotta get that down.
D-Bach.
D-Bach. Always the first initial. There we go. Mike. Jared.
Hello.
Now, okay. You got it now.
hard to believe it's been 3 months.
I know.
Yeah, June was the last meeting, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I was doing a little bit of recruiting this morning.
Oh, great. Any luck?
I'm getting nibbles. You gotta convince them yet, But I was at the father-daughter breakfast this morning, so trying to get them there.
okay. Well, I think it's after 7:30, right?
7:33?
Okay, so we'll get going. We'll call the September 13th, 2023 meeting of the Wayland Wastewater Management District Commission to order. We're doing this via uh, Zoom. The link was on the town's website with the calendar invite. This is Mike Gittin participating remotely.
Darren Bach participating remotely.
Okay. Is there anyone for public comment that we see?
No public comment.
Thank you. Okay, so first item, update on Alta and
Yeah. So as of September 7th, Alta was at 88.53% capacity.
wow.
Awesome.
I was gonna say
they're-
the parking lot looked full when I've been going to the transfer station.
Yeah, it's usually full when I'm there during the day too.
And what date
Um,
was that again, Jared? I'm sorry, 88% full as of
September 7th.
September. Okay, September 7th, just recently. Okay.
Yep. And as far as the project goes, everything is done except for the final SCADA like tie-in, connecting it from the pump station to the plant computer. That was actually supposed to be finished this week, but they postponed it, I think because they must have had something to do with the storms or something. They canceled day of. And that's it for Alta. And if anyone has any questions or comments.
Oh,
Do we know the flow from Alta or no? Do we have that?
Off the top of my head, I think it's since May, its average is 9,500.
Yeah, but that's,
Uh,
oh, since May
yeah,
to
yeah.
now?
And I don't remember what August's average was, but that's like an average from May 16th.
Right, which is at different occupancy rates.
Yeah.
All right, so really what would be interesting
Exactly.
is,
Jared gave me 9,509, so that was exactly correct, Jared. That's what
Okay.
you
There you
sent me
go.
in an email, so.
but that's the average since May, and that's at different occupancies. So it'll be really interesting, I think, for the next meeting is knowing what is that flow for September at this 88, assuming they stay around this 88%, right? Or 90, right? That's would be interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to see what if our assumptions are correct. Okay.
and that's a month or two. That occupancy is a couple months ahead of what we had hoped for, so it's good.
That's great. Yeah, that's why I gave the little fist bump.
Okay. So Jared, yeah, keep going with the operating reports.
Yeah, so it was looking back on it, it was a pretty busy summer. So in June, Elm Electric was finishing up their work inside the electrical cabinet at the Route 20 pump station. We did a sodium hypochlorite backwash on one of the membranes because Kubota recommends it, even if they're brand new, just give them a little wash every 6 months. And then Gustavo Preston, the distributor for the pumps that we got replaced at the Route 20 pump station, they came out with Elm Electric and Tyne Bond, and they approved. They tested it, so they approved it for flow. They approved the floats. They just really checked off that the work was done correctly and that we were in good shape. In June, I also gave Darren a tour of the plant. He stopped by.
Thank you.
2 of our UV bulbs were out. We replaced them and they were still out. So Whitewater assumed it was a ballast issue. And that actually did get replaced today. So that is all done. And in June, we lost power once, but it was very short and it happened overnight. But when I came back in, everything that should be running was running, and I just had to reset the few things that needed it. So then for July, we lost power while I was in the plant, and it was very short. I never saw the generator kick on, but again, it was just very short, so I assumed it didn't kick on because of the timer. It just needs to wait a certain amount of time without power before it kicks the generator on. And then also in July, Elm and Tyne Bond got the computer out at the pump station. They got that ready for SCADA. So that's the last bit they've worked on, and that's now the work just needs to be done at the plant itself. And then in August, we did another hypo backwash, or we actually ended up doing 2 hypo backwashes because we ended up realizing that we were underdosing. We ended up talking with Kubota, and they gave us the recommended dosages, and we were assuming, or we were doing it for half the size because we had a misunderstanding of how the membranes were stacked. And as a part of yearly maintenance, South Shore Generator came out to 185 Alyssa and to the Route 20 pump station generator. And they found that the starter at the plant generator was not working, which explains why when I was at the plant, I didn't see it kick on when the power went out. And then they also found that the Route 20 generator had a runaway block heater. So the block heater was just perpetually on until it died. And those actually did end up getting replaced only a few weeks later. It was a little stressful a few weeks, but we got through it. The plant did perfectly fine. We never lost power.
Is the block heater more critical in the winter? Or is it needed?
It's needed year round because it kind of just keeps it ready for when it does need to kick on. It just keeps it up to temp. Yeah. So, but yeah, it would definitely be more necessary in the winter. There was one day where I came in and we had no internet, and ended up just being a Verizon issue. They came out and replaced the box that we had in the building. But on that same day, I randomly, before we got internet back, I randomly received a MBR to PLC comm loss alarm. And in working with Ty and Bond, they were able to help me troubleshoot and figure out that it was actually just the Ethernet switch ports that we had. Apparently one of them just died. I guess it happens. And so I just had to unplug one Ethernet cord and plug it into a different spot, and it came right back and worked fine.
Is that panel new or old? Like, weren't some of the parts replaced this past year?
So the panel is actually what they were going to be replacing this week that they ended up
Okay.
postponing. This is just like a small little, few inch box that's got like 5 Ethernet ports in it, and helps them all, like the computer and the cabinet, communicate with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one ended up being an easy fix in the end. Raz pump 1 failed. I just got an alarm. It failed to start. Tried resetting things, and it would start back up and then fail again. So right now we're just running on the spare until it gets repaired. I do think it's just an electrical thing and maybe not a motor issue, but we'll find out when they come out. And the last week of August, I came in on Monday and the plant computer had no power, couldn't get it to start up. But the cabinet and everything, all the programming in there kept the plant running. I just couldn't see specific numbers, levels, flows, whatever, and I couldn't make any changes. But everything worked, and during the time we had no computer, it just everything stayed in auto, did its cycles. I just had no control. And yeah, so that was the summer at the plant.
I think we've ordered you a new computer, or it's in process, Tom, something. We've asked for one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to complete that story, Jared worked with IT. IT came out, and I think what they did is they actually replaced the hard drive of that unit and got that computer back up and running in short order. And then, yes, based upon experiencing that, we did put in a work order with IT to have that entire computer replaced. It's beyond its really useful design life and needs to be replaced. So that is being scheduled.
Does that back up every night? Do we have like a backup to it? That if you had to recover from a hard drive, how does that work?
I guess I'm not sure exactly. There's like a solid state drive, and that's what had like the programming on it, and that's what they swapped over between new computers, the new computer they brought in and the old one. I'm not sure about a backup specifically, but I can ask about that.
That's something we do, Tom, in town? Or is there like standard thing on how all that gets backed up?
Yeah, I mean, the town has a server that's at the high school, and all of the town, files, folders, everybody's computers that are connected to that are backed up on the server. I am not sure. Some of our standalone computers at the water department and at the wastewater plant have their own, backup systems independent of that. But I would have to find out, because I'd be leery of giving you an answer because I might be guessing. So I don't want to guess.
I know. Just something to look at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
as I listen to all these things that go wrong, right? Which
Yeah.
things go wrong, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's why, Jared, you're there and doing it, right? So things always go wrong, but kind of like, okay, what happens if the worst were to happen? What do we do?
Mhm.
Right?
This computer is separate from the SCADA, the control system. Correct?
Yeah,
it the
it
same?
just I mean, it's my interface with
Yeah.
SCADA and everything.
Right.
So like the electrical cabinet has its programming in it and everything. So that's why the plant was able to run. I just you know, if I wanted to change the timing of something or whatever, I had no control over like specifics like that.
Right. Okay. Well, good. We'll probably get to it later. What are we, is the average flow going up much, or is it still in the low 20s?
I'd probably say we've been averaging closer to 30 now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last report I saw that came out, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Like that's the number I always look at, Mike, and I saw an average of 29 and
Yeah.
change, you know. So I saw it approaching 30, and I saw one day I think it hit what 36,
Mm-hmm.
something
Yeah.
like that.
And that's not rainwater infiltration, right?
Correct.
Good.
So Mike, for the annual report, did you make changes and you sent that on?
Yes, that's what I just sent right before.
Okay, would you mind pulling that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my lighting. It's making me look red.
Well, sunburn.
Yeah, I'm not.
Let's see. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it down to 974 words. And
That's the biggest challenge of these things.
yeah,
There's
I
always
didn't make,
more to say than there's room for.
well, I didn't make a lot of, like, it was mainly a few little, when I read it again, little grammar things, but I know at one time it was important for us to say about the cost. I just kind of was looking at this sentence without comparing it to it. I think we're past the point where we have to justify the value of having someone like Jared on board. So I was suggesting we take this sentence out.
Yeah, it is outdated.
Yeah, because I
You
think,
want to make that part of the prior paragraph instead of just a one sentence?
sure.
Thank you.
And same, this was I think I made this edit last time, but this was just redundant down here. We said the permit up here, so I just took that out. And I actually had a question for Jane on this down here. Can you explain? For me, the income was 697,000. How does that relate to operating income?
That's the total of all income, including betterments and everything.
Okay, so this is from,
That's from the cash receipts report, the second page of the monthly financial report.
but just from is that revenue that comes in from the flows?
That's the
Great.
flows as well as the betterments, when people paying off their betterments, interest earned, people that have paid privilege fees and many other things.
So what's the difference between $130,000 plus difference? What's it? what's the difference between income and operating income then?
It's the betterments.
Yeah. When she answered you last time, Mike, it was for the full year. It was for the 697. So
Right,
the
okay.
566 is your operating, which is that's your billings going out, right?
Right, billings plus some interest earned and things like that.
Right.
Okay.
So wait, this is for total fiscal year 2023. I gotta get my fiscal years right. I'm sorry. I thought we showed a negative 9. We were predicting a negative 100. Did it actually not come in that way?
The numbers include retained earnings. Well, no, they don't. These don't include, no, we don't have a negative. When we get to the the June 30th statement, you'll see that we don't have a negative.
Oh, awesome.
But that also includes the privilege fees that we received and things like that, so.
I understand. Yeah, but I thought even with all that, we were running at due to all the things that were biting us. So, okay.
At different times during the year, we were, but as the year, came through, we got, more money came in and things like that.
Yeah. But I thought even with that, okay, keep going, Mike. Even
So-
with that prediction, I thought we were.
So should this of 52,000, should it go right here, Jane?
Operating income was that, and operating expenses were,
Should it go?
which included revenue of. You could switch it around
Whoops,
if
I
you wanted,
didn't cut that right, but
or,
for the non, here, let me turn the tracking for the.
yes, you
Yeah, I
want
was
to
gonna
put the
say,
operating
I-
income, which
Yeah,
included,
this way.
Yeah, for the non financial type. This is what I was trying to do.
yeah, so yes, it does.
Okay,
Yeah, that I like better, Mike.
Yep.
okay. So we made a profit this year? Or we added to the,
So I'm pulling up the June financials
Okay.
for you. Operating income and loss, that's revenue minus expensing for operating came to 89,000. And then total income
Negative.
and loss, positive.
Awesome. Damn.
So we had operating revenue of 566 and operating expenses of 476. And then if you pull out the privilege fees, we come to a net income of 38,000.
Okay. I mean, we haven't met in 3 months, right? So this is like tough to like, because when we were 3 months ago, we were predicting negative 100. And that we were gonna have to pull from retained earnings. Huh.
These numbers that I'm using include retained earnings. So the net income numbers do, but the actual cash flow numbers do not. So the 697 does not include retained earnings, the first number that's up there.
Yeah.
But when you tie it all together with the planned amounts of retained earnings, that's what we come up with.
All right. I gotta
And
compare.
that's something, if you want to look at the financials closer when we get to June, maybe you don't want to include the retained earnings, but we had budgeted for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I have it in there.
Okay, but I thought even okay, we can wait until we get the financials, but even when we were predicting to use it, we were still predicting a loss. is
I
what
think
we were
it's
doing.
because we hadn't done that last $96,000 billing or something like that. You know, the fourth quarter billing hadn't been done yet, or the third quarter wasn't in there. You know, because we do quarter 4 from the prior year plus 1, 2, and 3. So I think the third quarter the revenue hadn't come in yet. So it's those kind of things.
Yeah, I always hate cash accounting. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
and then everything else is.
Darry, did you have any thoughts on the report here? Anything you?
You know, Did we review this last time? I'm trying to
The
think.
only thing I want to tell you is the number for the estimated fund balance, the 1,072,000 has not been updated. There's for somehow our balance sheet shows we made 400,000 last year. So I have a question into Brian Kevaney, and I haven't heard back from him yet. But before the report is finalized, I will have a handle on what our actual retained earnings are. So if you guys, if you feel happy with this, we have to finalize it tonight. That will be one thing that will be fixed.
I'm fine. Finalizing with the understanding that the fund balance number will be confirmed by what Jane is told by.
I will go a little bit more detailed through this right after this meeting, Jane,
Okay.
and if I see anything, but
Yep.
Okay.
trusting.
And then you'll have
Mike
all
here.
the schedules to look at too, and I can walk you through where the numbers come from, and if you'd
But
like.
I trust Mike though too, and if we're all good, I'm ready to go forward. But I will do another reading if I catch anything. All right, tonight.
Okay. I'll send this. We made a few little tweaks here. I'll send this out again.
No, Mike, please don't send it out because we have to adjust the fund balance.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'll
no,
go
I mean,
through-
I meant to Darren.
To this group,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And
Thank
Mike,
you.
make sure he goes to my dbach@wayland email address.
Okay.
So would you
Okay.
guys like to make a motion that you approve except for that one number to be in a review by Darren? Because we have to have it in by September 30th. This is
Yes.
our only shot at getting it done.
I make a motion that we approve the annual report with the condition that the fund balance number will be confirmed. And Aaron will and Darren will do a final editorial read.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Mike Gittens,
Aye.
yes, aye.
Darren Bach, yes.
Okay,
I'm going to close this one and go to the next one. Oh, you have to close it, Mike.
yep. I'll send this back, but the only discussion is with you and Darren to wrap it up.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay,
So
what's next?
if you could close your screen.
Yep, I think I did.
You good? Okay, so I'll share now the rules and regs. I think we're good, yep.
All right, you want me to start off and kind of lead us into this topic?
Sure.
All right, so we've had a version of rules and regs that go back even as far as Paul Brinkman. One of the last things that he did when he was supporting us was to craft a version of these rules and regs. We had a number of discussions. I think the board was satisfied with a majority of it. There were some outlying sections that needed to be amended and included. And what Jane did in her email earlier today was to kind of offer up a 1 through 6 of the things that we've added and amended to the document since the last time that we discussed it. And she's also, this version that's on the screen is in track changes. So you'll see that what Jane itemized here in her email lines up with what she's talking about. So I'm just going to list them. In essence, it was the sewer use application that actually gets converted once the signatures are obtained, both the applicant and DPW. That becomes then a permit. So that is explained. We also developed a violation penalty structure. And so that is referenced within the rules and regs. And you'll see in Appendix A at the end of the document, you'll see that. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that. There was also a sewer tie-in checklist that was created probably a year or so ago. And the purpose for that is when a new customer is actually constructing a new connection. In essence, it's a checklist or a set of guidelines to follow and a set of requirements that they are to submit and abide by as that connection is being made. So that is referenced in the rules and regs. We've also in Article 4, which focuses more on what we don't allow, there are just references to the violation penalties in that that we've got included in 2 of those sections. We've also added a significant explanation of what fats, oils, and grease trap requirements are going to be, and we're pretty pleased and satisfied with what we've got included here, defining and explaining what needs to be done relative to grease traps, the installation, the maintenance of them, documenting the inspections, maintaining records for that. So you'll see that in Article 4, Section 2, the last one, number 7. And then at the end, Appendix A is that violation penalty structure. And what we did is we took a look at I guess the level of penalty that kind of I'll call it the sister division, the water division, what they use as far as violations and penalties. Jared then surveyed a number of similarly sized sewer, municipal sewer systems, sewer operations, saw really what they were considering a violation and the appropriate amount for a violation. And it's really, you'll see it listed there, charge per day per violation. And we say, in addition to recovery of costs within the narrative of the rules and regulations, and I know we talked about this as a board a number of months ago, is that not only do we have the ability to charge a fine, but any costs that are incurred by the town associated by a violation of one of the users, should it be a permit violation, administrative consent order, whatever value is associated with that to the town, that is passed along to the user in addition to what these charges per day per violation. So it's, we started off, with only a couple of items. This is something, in future years, the board can consider if we run into situations or episodes that are not included here. We can actually, we can amend this and add to it. We also selected costs, the value of the violation. It's pretty conservative, and when I say conservative, it's probably not probably, it is less than, some of the higher violations that we saw some of our neighboring communities. We didn't want to start off with an initial violation structure that was just, exorbitant. We wanted it to be matched with, the kind of the level of severity, the impact and consequences of some of these things to the operation of the sewer system. So those are, you'll see those are the values and really how we derive those values. So that's something the board can certainly, consider, discuss, and make suggestions. And I think that's a, did I miss on something there, Jane?
The only thing I thought of is Jared will pretty much be the one that will be stating what the violations will be, because he'll see what it's doing to the treatment plant or whatever. So then he'll come to us. So he'll be the point person on most of the things that happen here.
Does Jared know like who the violator is though? By the time it gets to the plant, or we have to backtrack to that, right?
Yeah, so I guess I can start saying it's some of the I mean some of the episodes that we would be able to, how do I say, observe. There are times when you'll be able to attribute it to a particular user right away. There are others, and Jared can talk about the work that he and Paul Pacioli are doing right now relative to tracing phosphates, that it does take a fair amount of legwork. It takes a fair amount of time to try to track and determine the source of some of these things. So that's, if you're going to find somebody, you certainly have to have very strong evidence.
Right,
And you can't
right.
just do it haphazardly like we think that it could be. You want to be well grounded when you assess a fine to a customer.
Agree. That's what I was wondering. Like,
Yeah.
so it's happening to your plant. Now you got to backtrack and identify it.
Yep.
But I think it's good that you strengthen the fat, oil, and grease section. That's probably maybe one of the simpler ones. If a restaurant or someone, a line in front of that connection starts fouling, you could point to that pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Which you did say there's the audit. I know you used a different word, but the inspection. I'm sorry, the inspection. So there is an inspection of that occurs, right?
That's right. Yep. That grease trap, it's a monthly inspection. They have to keep a record of it. It's a minimum of a quarterly cleaning of the unit itself. That has to be recorded, and those records have to be available for inspection. And I say town departments, it's really a coordinated effort between DPW, the building department, and the health department. So in not being specific to one department, I listed it out as those three departments kind of co-manage this program.
Are those frequencies fairly standard that you just that are in here? I assume we didn't make this up, that we pulled it from someone else. Or
Yeah, that's what we, Jared did survey a number of the relative neighboring communities that have a similarly sized an operation, and we mimicked what their experiences were. Some of us have worked for these communities, and some of them we just were able to get their information off their website.
And do you do like a random audit, or is it they're on a schedule of an audit when you look at the inspection reports? I know you say they have to do it monthly, but we don't look at them all monthly, right? Sounded
We
like you
don't.
said.
So they just have to be. It's almost like a truck driver has to keep records, and if he's pulled over by the state police, he has to have those records available. It's one of those things that
Got it.
there is no schedule where any of these departments go out there. But if we start to notice backups, or we notice some sort of a problem, that anytime Jared or a building inspector or the health agent goes out, those records have to be current, produced. Okay. Yes.
And that if they don't have them, that's a violation, and therefore that's when we start entering this. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
No, I'm glad. I know this idea of the penalties was floated before, and I think we had there were some pretty scary numbers in there before. Whatever, it was a very rough draft. I'm glad to see that they're like they are now.
Yeah, no, this is really good, and it kind of ties into that flyer that you include, Jane, on the one email, right? Of kind of like, hey, what not to put down the drain, what to put in the drain, and you don't want to use a scare tactic too much, but like kind of like this, hey, this is what it can do to our system, and this could be what it could cost you, right? So we use that a lot in a lot of products I use in my company. That it's all about cost avoidance, right? And this is a cost that they could face if they don't. So you don't want to use the scare tactic though, but I like that this puts a little more meat to it on exactly, hey, please don't do this because here's the cost that could incur. Cool. Yeah, this is
you guys
good.
like the numbers? And if so, if someone would like to make I think we should do a motion possibly on both on this part of it as well, just to be sure.
I think I'm good with the numbers because you said it's in addition to the recovery of cost, right? So this is the true penalty, not what we're billing for, because you also have the cost of So I think this is a pretty good penalty structure. Mike, I don't know about
you, on the penalty on the whole thing though. Could we just look at this till the next meeting? Is there a time crunch on this or?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you feel that you want to, peruse this a little bit longer, I know that it
To
was
be
just
frank,
sent
I
at
want to
3 in
look
the
at the
afternoon.
last. I know there are a few little things that were hanging out the last time we spoke about this, and I didn't have a time to look at that before today. That's
And you know
all.
what we can do in the email, Jane had mentioned that, based upon a favorable vote tonight, we would forward this to town council. I think if we do feel that we want to take an extra meeting period to review this, I think what we can do is send this off to town council to at least have them start taking a look at it. So that's kind of being done simultaneously with your, I guess, in essence, final review.
Yeah, that sounds, I'd support that.
Yeah.
Support that.
Would you like to wait on voting on the violation penalty structure? Or is that something you'd like to do tonight? It can be
Why
done
we,
whenever.
I don't know why we would do it separately.
Okay,
guess-
that's fine. Yep.
The
Well, we
only-
want to
the
make
only-
sure. Tom,
Yep. The only reason that many times a fee structure is voted separately is that to how do I say, tinker or to amend rules and regulations is a far greater exercise than just amending a penalty structure. So many times they're voted separately so that if in a year you wanted to amend the penalty structure, it wouldn't require like opening up an entire rules and regs discussion. I think it's just, I don't think it's a complete deal breaker. I think it's just regularly they're done separately. But if you wanted to wait until next month to do them all in one package, vote them separately in one meeting, we have no need to, to use these things probably within the next 30 days.
Like, I'm fine with next meeting. I think we do it all,
Okay.
and then we
Yeah.
do it as 2 votes so that we can
Okay.
look through it.
Okay. Yeah, so Jane, you and I can work with town council, just getting them this version. Let them start perusing it, and then at the next meeting, we can hear from Darren and Mike if there's.
Finalize it.
Yeah, and if it's, if it's something we don't feel that, how do I say, would alter the legality of it, we probably, we would be fine with what town council reviewed. But if some of the changes or amendments that you're thinking about, if we do feel that they're material to the legal aspects of it, then we could send it back to them. But at least they'll have a very good familiarity with the document.
Okay.
and board member status? Mike have anything? Darren's trying.
Father-daughter
I did it.
breakfast?
Yeah, I did a tiny recruiting this morning. I'm working on a couple people, but I do not have anybody
Yeah, I
hook, line, and sinkered in yet. No.
Tom, do you, is there any news on the town engineer coming on board, or is that something we'll wait for next meeting, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly, offer a comment on that. So we do have an offer out to a strong candidate, and it's very likely that they'll begin the beginning of October. I'm not sure if they'll be on board in time to attend our October meeting, but this individual lives locally, has a background in both consulting and an academic background. Was a professor at Wentworth for quite a while. Has experience in wastewater plant design and operation. So I think she will be of value to this group and to us. So I'm very encouraged, and with all likeliness, she'll be arriving at the beginning of October.
great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I know it's
Good for
Great.
all of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Jared's happy too.
Mm-hmm.
Someone he can talk wastewater with.
Yeah. Finding talent is so hard these days.
Yeah, we're pleased.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, did you make changes to the newsletter? You sent it to me.
Very minor, if you want to pull it up. It was more just changing the tense of a few things, because I think it's been.
I don't have access because you just sent them. I just
No,
saw.
I mean,
them, but-
if you want to pull yours up, it's like two I only sent it because it's like 2 words.
If they're not important, I already made 150 copies and Jared already
you?
took some out.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
guys agreed to it last time, so we thought it
Oh,
was.
right. I thought we were, but it's just that, right. I thought we were putting it out and it's not. It just, it refers to things that happened that are done. That's all.
Yeah, some of it was, did you guys take a look at the nice flyer that was created? I can try to pull it up.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Oh, there it is. Good. Did I share it? Let's see, share screen. It's buried in another document. Let's see, where's the agenda? Is there anything you want to talk about that particular thing, or I don't know why it's not sharing. Let's see. I hit share.
Who in the town's the
those two
drone
have been-
operator?
What's that, Mike?
Who in the town's the drone operator that got you the nice aerial?
That
Oh,
would be our project manager that, I'm not sure if did he attend any of these meetings?
No, he hasn't yet. No.
Yeah, that's Paul Paccioli that I was referring to. He has his own drone. Yes, that turned out nice.
Yeah, my
Yes.
husband got fancy and he stuck it in with some other documents, and now I can't make it to come up. But
But
basically,
that too has been developed, folded, and many of them are out the door already.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is not about changing or commenting. It's just-
right.
Yeah.
it was more to show you and to thank Jared also for doing for getting, for being the one who's putting them out there. So that's great. Sewer use applications. Let me just grab my file 1 second. So, chocolate therapy is in the town center, 63 Angel. They're under construction. So we have a signed sewer use application. Jose's Painting has gone in at 310 Boston Post Road, and we have a signed sewer use application for them. No real change in design flow for either of those two. The town center, which I think I sent an email, purchased 2,500 gallons per day, and for a total of 55,000 for a privilege fee. So that's a nice start for this year towards our 75 for small equipment. And right now we've allocated that to certain parcels in the town center. And the other thing is there are about 3 potentials coming in at the town center, but they haven't signed leases yet. And until they do those kind of things, we don't lock in anything, any sewer uses or applications or anything like that. We did take the sewer use application and turned it into a application and a permit. So once it's signed, it's a permit, because when you read through the rules and regulations, it refers to both an application and a permit. So now we had some assistance with IT, and they got the form looks great, and you can just type in your answers. So everything's been updated on that form that we send out all the time. So that's good. And yeah, that's about it for sewer use applications.
So with
Listen.
the chocolate therapy going, is in, I guess, town center, were they at, when you say the town center has an allocation, whatever it is, 30, I can't remember. But
Yeah,
that didn't push
34.
them over.
I can look it up for you in a second, but yes, they have
Basically,
an
they
allocation.
increased it.
Yes,
Right.
they increased
And
it
then
by
you said you
2,500.
spread that across the various.
So they do the allocation between, like, if something had nothing in it, they added a little extra. If they thought something's coming in, they added there. So we'll adjust the billing on my end to make sure that every piece of that design flow for the town center has a billing amount assigned to it. So we get
It
a
just
base
says,
charge.
yeah. And in the example of the chocolate place, I think it was a Subway.
It was prior a Subway, yes.
Subway. So that's, there was a design flow associated with their operation. And I don't have to off the top of my head, but when somebody like the chocolate group comes in, we take a look at what their operation, Jane does all of that. And then their design flow stays the same, is amended up or down. And that's reflected in the sewer use application. And then what the town center does is then they adjust, they have that total allocation that you're talking about, Mike, and then they keep track of that, so that the remaining, vacant properties or whatever, each time it's really like a chess game, but they have that total allocation that they have to live within.
Right. So at the end of the day, they bought additional 2,500, I think you said, because of their planning on what they think they're going to use and making sure it's available. So they're planning for the future,
Correct.
which could be those three potentials. So it's not like those three potentials are going to add more flow because they've already purchased for that.
Or they have unused allocation.
Unused. Right.
So
Which is-
the document that I put up on the screen is a summary of the one that we used with the privilege fee policy that had multiple lines of information. And so what you can see here, what you were just talking about, we added in the 2,500 for the town center. And then I've also deducted out that the Alta's amount of design flow went down because we found the new amount of bedrooms there. Once construction was done, Alta's design flow went down. So there's 2,500 up, 1,200 down. Do you have a question on that, Darren? You look a little puzzled.
No, keep going.
Okay, great. And then I added in the 10,000 that was the original that you guys issued. So for a total right now, the total design flow you'll see is 124,181. That's what we have issued out there. And then the next number that we look at is what is the estimated and actual flow. So the 42,278 is a combination of, we know what the flow is at the plant based on what we get, the information we get from different reports. And then we added in like 50% for the different things that were classified above, like for the 2,500 and the additional 10,000, how much is used and not used. So unallocated and allocated all gets put into that average actual flow. So you have your design flow, what we think is going to run at some point through the plant when everything's connected. And then you guys in your last run on the privilege fee had agreed that about 65,000 was the amount we would run the plant at. And then we would have to go out and find out if we need to do any further changes to the plant or look closely to make sure the plant is running efficiently. And the last number there is permitted flows of 89,000. Any questions on those four numbers? So
but our average flow has been 30, and then your estimated is other things, and that's how you're getting to the 42.
The number I'm using is the one based on what we're
Gotta
billing.
remember all this, right? That's right.
Yeah,
We're
so
billing, right.
there's Jared's flow number and then there's a billing number.
This is
So
design. Okay.
yeah, so the first one is design, the second one is actual flow. It gets a little confusing.
Yep.
And so that includes unconnected, connected, all of that stuff, things that aren't actually using their flow.
But if they did, this is what we'd expect it could be.
At some point, yeah.
Right. Okay. I remember
Jared
this.
said we're about at 30 now, so it looks like another 12,000. When everybody gets kicked in and everybody gets connected.
Yeah, if everybody was.
It's only an estimate.
Yep.
So and we expect Alta to go up more as well. So and then the number that you guys had asked me about was of the 10,000 that we you guys had issued on November 16th. 106,000 has been paid for privilege fees so far, and 4,442 has been allocated to different new connections and other things in town.
Right.
So right now, unused is 5,558.
Right. So the confusing thing there for me when I looked at is the dollar sign you have on it. Shouldn't have a dollar sign on it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll take care of that.
And just to go back, the total Title V design flow, that's our cap that we are currently working under. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a cap. I just call it that's a total that we have.
It's what we're currently working on under.
That's what we're working under. That's what our number is with everything included.
Including
right.
the 10,000 that
Yeah.
we,
Right. But our real cap is our total permitted flows. Our permitted flows cannot go above 89. That is
Right,
our true cap.
right. I'm sorry. It's our design flow available, allocated and available to be allocated.
Right. That
It's
we're comfortable
everything.
right now with that 10, and we're gonna reevaluate and just to make sure that we don't go near that 65. And as Tom, as you said, it's our motorcycle, right? Not
Right.
going at
Yep.
70 miles per hour, not 100.
You
You're
got it.
comfortable going 70 at 65. You don't want to go above that, right? This is still encouraging. It still says, Mike,
We have
you
room.
know, we got the
Well, the number-
55. We got the 55 there, the 5,500 plus. Assuming, we got to still see how this comes out, right? As people come on, as you said, Jane, as people actually start using the unallocated, or not the unallocated, but the underused. I forget the exact word you said, but it still says we could possibly have, just another 20,000. We'll see here, right? Of flow. So
That's what I'm most interested in, and it's way early, like next
early.
spring, is what our actual flows are into the plant when we're closer to the full
Yep.
allocation. Because we use like a 40%
Yep.
usage or 50%. And I think in reality, historically, it's been more like 30%. So the next time in the many months down,
Yep.
maybe we could be a little less conservative on what we release combined with system performance.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm only talking about how much design flow we sell versus what we really see.
Yep.
But it has to be combined with the system performing appropriately.
It's still encouraging. This is good.
Yep. Okay.
So that's it for me on that, unless you have any other questions.
Wasn't there a couple potentials on Route 20 as well? You said potentials only in town center, but I thought we had a couple potentials, and you don't have to say who they are, but I thought we had a couple
No,
there. as
yeah,
well.
there are two that are going on right now. One may connect. One is actually talking to an engineer to connect. And
Okay.
until those things get closer, Tom and I had thought maybe we'll just keep them general at this point. And there's one other there too. Thanks to Mike, he paid off his old bills and something has moved in there, and I need to do an evaluation because they added in a lot of stations that weren't there before for like pedicures and things. So that'll be this week or next week. I'll start on new design flow for that particular place.
So 5 potentials on all, 3 of which are in town center, which already are allocated for flow,
Yep.
and they're already participating, and then 2 others. Okay, good.
Yep. Okay. Okay, next on the list is monthly financial report. Let me stop sharing this. Down a little bit farther, let's see. Let me click on something else. They're not showing up on my summary. Hold on. August. Oh, good. All right, let me see if I can share this. Share screen. Sorry for the delay here, guys. There it is. Good. Got it. And share. Oh, there it is. Great.
All
All
right,
right,
so
so
this is
here's
the
the
one to
new one.
close out the year. Okay.
Let me know where you'd like to go on this. I made some notes, but would you like to look first and then ask questions, or? So this is preliminary. They're hoping to close at the end of September. We'll see what happens. Do
You expect much movement, or you think it's pretty solid?
There's in the betterment line, there's 3 items that I'm not sure are in the right category. It could be another 2,000 that may be moved around to another one of our accounts.
All right.
So I'm waiting for an answer on that. And then you'll notice in the encumbered balance column G, there's 1,875. And when they close out the year, that will go away. And that number also shows up because that's something that was an FY23 purchase order that Jared just spent. So it's showing up right now in August, but that will also go away because anything that's encumbered from a prior year goes to the undesignated retained earnings line and doesn't show up in your financials. So they're here now until they close out the year and do their extra accounting stuff. So that'll go away.
Is that, when we were talking about the written report, the number of that you want to confirm, does it show up here?
It
million.
shows up on page 2. Shows up on the let's see if we can move over a little bit here. Yeah. One more page, hold on. Cash receipts, here it is. Okay, yep. If I make this bigger, can you see it? Whoops, went away. Oh, sorry. Are you still looking at the right one? I'm not. There it is. Okay, great. Let me go over to the right. June 2023. And the 696 we were looking at before is right here, 697. So this is the total of all your unapportioned numbers, your betterment numbers, your liens. There's your lien number, 11,000, Mike. Interest earned. And then this is the 1,183 is our sewer rate relief in column M. And the rest of it is all what people have paid for privilege fees. And then your user charges and your penalties and interest. So that number that I put on the front, that's the revenue we have received for all sources for the year. Does not include retained earnings.
Not included.
So when you add the retained earnings in, it brings the number up.
But there was a one number in the written report, the million something
that shows up in the balance sheet, which I don't have here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a balance sheet item.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
I didn't bring it because it's
Statement.
under question. So
Okay.
the number is 1,431,000. And you know, when you look at our net income for the year, it just doesn't match. I don't know why. So that's why I have a question out. Maybe Brian has a really good reason, you know, something got allocated, or I'm not sure, but I thought it was a safe idea just to check because logically it didn't make sense.
So can you go back to the first tab
Yep. Okay,
and then scroll down?
to revenue.
So total goods, total operating expenses. We budgeted that. We actually came in at that, but we were actually predicting higher, or no, we were predicting a shortfall on income. So
At some point, yeah.
yeah. So what changed on the income that we got whole?
Well, you can see here, we got the rest of our long-term debt count comes in May, June. So we
Yeah.
probably get some more money in long-term. Well, we paid it out, but I mean, in the betterment, we pay it out in May. We get receipts in May. So we probably got more money in the betterment. The user charges, we get the last payment, you know, the last from the Q3 came in. Interest earned, we got a few more dollars, a couple thousand more in there. I'm not exactly sure when we get all the privilege fees. We can look down here.
What I gotta do, I just gotta compare it to the old.
Yeah,
one.
you gotta
I'm
pull
just-
one up.
I'm very happy. I mean,
So what
that
I did-
number, last time we met, that was a negative 100 right there.
I don't recall. Yeah, could. So what I did was I changed the bottom of this a little bit on lines 61, 62, and 63. I thought this was a little clearer than the way I had it before. So you can see the first line is operating income and loss, total income and loss, and
Yep.
then without privilege fees included. So for June, if we didn't have the privilege fees in there, we would have had a profit of about 38,000.
So we were, I mean, what I'm struggling with is because on our last meeting, right, we were all like, oh my God, we should have not done what we did with the rates because we thought we weren't charging enough based upon what Alta's fee, Alta's occupancy was, right? Type of thing. And that we were running short and that we would have reevaluated what we did with Paul when we set rates. And that's what we've been talking about for the past several meetings. And now this says that actually what we charged from rates last year was call it spot on, right? With the not including privilege fees, 37,000 in the positive, which is kind of like what we're trying to do, right? From a wastewater. So,
Well, the other thing that in here, if you look at this retained earnings operations line 58, we didn't have to use 25,000 for contingency, nor the other one we have up here, pipeline maintenance of 8,500. So
yeah, we didn't use it. Right.
Right. So that gives you pretty much, according to budget, the information there. So
Right. We didn't take the additional 100 grand that we thought we needed to take from retained earnings other than what we had planned, but we thought we were going to have to use another 100
right.
in addition to what we had as the budget 155. And in the end, we didn't, and we only used 130, which was for the membrane.
Right. Well, a combination of, the two. Yeah, 130 for the membrane. Exactly. So that's what I have in here, the 130 for the membrane. I didn't include the 25K. And then up here under retained earnings betterment, this is the difference between what we receive for revenue on the betterment and the debt that is paid. So that 75,362 is the budgeted amount. So with those numbers in there, we have to use retained earnings in order to break even.
Yep. All right, Jane, what I'm going to do, I want to compare this to our last time we looked at this and just see why did this shift so much, because we used the last one to make assumptions on, and oh my God, I just blanked on his name. I'm sorry, the person who did the modeling.
Matt Abrams.
Matt Abrams.
Matt, thank you. Sorry. And we did a whole modeling where we were thought we were running 100 grand shortfall, right? And that was part of his modeling. So it'd be interesting.
If you look up at user charges here on line 53, we are about 81,000 short for the year for user charges. And you can see that 81% is what we brought in compared to budget.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But then we did look at interest earned. When we forecasted this, interest was very low. Right. And we did great this year in interest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're feeling it we're feeling it on the expenses up above though too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But we stayed below budget. I mean, there's only a couple, the equipment repairs and maintenance, the vehicle repair. There's only a few that were below what we said would be budgeted.
There's electricity. Electricity's below too.
Down here. And,
damn. Wow.
But we anticipated Alta to be at 100% for this whole year. So these numbers reflect the fact that we thought Alta would be at 100 for a year.
All right, I'll get off. Again, this is great news. I mean, this is really good.
Yep. So, but the thought I'm having with our undesignated retained earnings number is, it's going to show there should be an increase of 89,000. So 1,071 plus 89,000 doesn't get us to 140. I mean, maybe there's something else in there, and that's why I'm a little curious.
Right. Okay.
So, okay. Any other thoughts on this? We'll probably see it one more time. I'm hoping we close in September, or so maybe in October. Okay.
What you
Whoops.
You mentioned, so we are doing better on the back collections. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's also to be chatted about right now. Let me get my pages. What we're doing is we've had someone from the finance department coming over and helping us with learning how to use receivables and aging reports and things like that we didn't even have access to before. So we are right now working on the demand process, and a demand letter goes out. Do you guys know what that is, or
familiar with a demand letter? I'm not familiar with how Wayland does, but I'm familiar with the demand letter.
So what we do is, as of June 30th, we look at all accounts with a balance of $105 and greater. And if those accounts have a balance from inception, which we use is July 1st of 1999 to current June 30th, if they have a balance, it goes on my list. So what we did is we send out a letter, and they get a $15 fee. And the letter basically says you owe this amount. If you do not pay within 30 days, you will be sent to the lien process. So then in the closer to November, December, I think it's December, we send out a lien letter. So what we've decided is that I am going to call I think it's 11 accounts and ask them for, can you guys please pay? And, just make sure we get the correct addresses and things like that. So, I'm looking for my total. At the very last minute today, I got a total. That's why I don't have a schedule for you. I think it was 18,000 is what is owed right now.
Can't remember what it was. I remember we
I think it
showed
was a
we
little
were
bit
at.
less last year.
we
But
were-
what happens is if someone doesn't pay, they lean them over to the tax end of it. So those numbers get changed a little bit during, between each year, and not everybody gets leaned over and things like that. So it's about 18,000. I have a nice schedule here somewhere. Here it is. Nope. So I have the list. And I'll start making phone calls, and some of the ones that Mike has mentioned before are definitely on there. And hopefully I'll be able to get a bunch of people to pay.
What was our total 312,000 billables, something like that? What was it on the 370?
For June?
No, total year. It's because that 18 is like the revolving. I'll think of it as a revolving. So it was total was 370,000.
That user charges we billed?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I got the right year. Yep, June. We billed out 347,000.
347. That's what it was. Okay. I knew there was a 7 in it. Okay.
Here it is. Yep, it's 18,873. That is outstanding right now.
Huh.
And it's
That says
11.
So if that one person paid, where you said thanks to Mike or whatever, then that if I did 18 as we're revolving on a user charge, if that's so what it stays at 18, and we assume we do 370, we're back to 95% on collections, which we still want to get that higher, but we used in Matt's model 89%, right, collected. So I do think this is a good thing. Let's keep going after this.
Yep. So that sounds good. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, it's good.
The June one? Oh, did you say all set?
Mike, you good?
Mm-hmm.
My papers got mixed up here. Let me do share screen for August. There it is. Yep.
All right, 17% of the year.
Yep.
No, 11. Total services 59%. But year to date 4.7 budget balance. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong column. Sorry.
Do you want me to move up or anything? Just say so.
No, I was looking at the far right there at the 59%. So I was looking at the 17%. I'm just trying to go through the percents really quick.
Yeah.
So nothing, I mean, any comments really quick of anything that's hitting
Yeah,
us?
the equipment repairs and maintenance, the 1875 will go away. That was that carryover that we had from the June. That's an encumbered amount, and Jared already bought the equipment, so that'll go away. Everything else is right in line with what it should be. There's nothing unusual here. You can see in user charges, we have 97,000, and that was from the FY23 quarter, FY22. Wait a minute, where are we? This would be the Q3 billing for FY23. That's the amount we got in for that so far.
Right, but that's baked into the 469 assumption, right? It's kind of like how we forecast it, right? So you're online with the 20.8. So with 28.8 coming in at 17% through the year, we're good.
So then if you look below, you see miscellaneous revenue operating. We have the 55,000 from town center. Yep. So that's great. Nice start. So right now our numbers look great at the bottom, those last 3 lines. And this number, because it's so new in the year, it's kind of skewed a little bit. We really need to get into half the year to get an idea of what's going on, but. And the other thought I had, Darren, is there one or two other numbers I could throw off to the right that you would like to see that would be helpful? I think I have room to get maybe another line or two in there to the right.
I mean, columns? What are you
No,
talking
just like you see, I have operating income or lost total income. Is there some other number that you would like to see? And you can tell me that later and we can
Yeah,
do
I'll
it
tell
next
you that
month.
later. Some ratios that I like to look at. But
Yeah,
yeah, but again, we're this cash accounting always throws me off a little bit that we're looking at it this way, which is fine. It doesn't throw me off. It's a good way to do it, but it's
it's a different way, yeah.
not accrual based. So, which is why I want to look at the prior year, what we did last meeting compared to what June finally ended at. Why do we have such a swing?
Mhm.
Right? Because that you can make poor decisions off that, right? So I don't want to make poor decisions off of because of the way we're accounting.
Yep, that's a good thing to do. Okay, any other
Yeah,
thoughts?
I don't see any. Yeah, no. 20%,
And I didn't, it doesn't
17.
include because June's expenses are all paid in June. Usually we do them in the month following. So I didn't do a July report because there's nothing really to report because all the expenses are done in June. They
Yep.
get done in the prior fiscal year.
They're your fiscal year 23.
Right. So July is kind of a non-event for this report.
Okay.
So, okay. Okay, next on the list is the approve the minutes. Um,
I had it up. Where did it go? Where'd it go?
yeah.
Are you
It's
not putting it on
funny,
the screen really quick?
everything was here when I started the meeting, and now when I'm trying to find them. Is that one?
What did I do with all my documents?
Word, rules and regs. Newsletter, launch. Let's see if I can move some things around and find them. Sorry
the
for
rules.
the delay.
I got that.
We did that. Did that.
Draft minutes. I got it.
You got them?
Oh, I got it,
So
yeah.
many documents open. Do you want to share them? I'll stop sharing. I don't think I shared, so.
I can do that. Give me 1 second. Let me just download because it's easier to open from Word than viewing it through Outlook.
Yeah, I double checked them all. I went through, okay, got that one, got that one.
Okay, let me.
Got it?
Yeah, I gotta just share screen. Share screen. Screen.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah.
There they are.
I'll just put that down there. Oh, sorry, guys. Can you guys see all yourselves? There we go. All right. Yeah, last time we met 63, so now we're at 88 point something. You said, Jared. Yeah. That's what we all signed that day. Congratulations, Mike. I can't remember anything else that we talked about. Mike,
Nope.
I make a motion to approve the June 14th, 2023 meeting minutes.
I second. All those in favor?
Darren Bach, aye.
Mike Gittin, aye.
All right.
Next thing is topics. Not reasonably anticipated.
No, you hit the, glad to hear the collections. We're moving forward on that. And I hope a lot of it is just people being unaware.
Yeah, hopefully that's it. Yeah. No, I think collections, I mean, great at Alta at 88 now. I think that's kind of the flow we need, kind of, Tom, is what we talked about at one point, right? Kind of that they got to get to that 90 for the billings on that. So that's great. And I think we're in, we got to prove it out first, but in
Yeah.
really good shape for expansion, right? From a user base. Again, we're only allocating 5,500 more, but the plant's looking like it's in good shape.
And then if you'd like I have October 11th as our next meeting. That isn't any holidays, I don't think.
I see.
No, it's yeah, the 9th is a holiday, but that doesn't interfere at all.
Actually, give me a second. I just need to check one thing.
I look pretty good.
Will you be in Hawaii or anything?
Huh?
Darren, will you be in Hawaii?
No, not be in Hawaii. We were actually just talking about that today, that I need to get to Hawaii to do something for work. And we're like, yeah, we got to plan that.
Yeah. That's a family trip.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
there in May.
There you go, May next year.
Yeah.
All the islands are just
Just Oahu. My son
Oahu.
got engaged, and then about 2 months ago said, "Yeah, we're gonna do it in Hawaii." I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna have a wedding in Hawaii.
destination wedding, baby.
Yep.
Sounds good. I
Mhm.
think your office staff should be invited too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 11th
What?
works for me, and
I know I have to be in North Carolina, but when is it? I'm good for now. Yeah, just I'll make it work.
How about November 8th?
That's when I start traveling. November 8th.
that works for me.
We can
will-
celebrate my birthday that night.
Oh, geez. Maybe we should switch nights. What do you think, Tom?
I don't think what is that, a Wednesday? Yeah, I don't think there'll be anything big planned that night.
When is the budgeting starting?
We should be getting instructions for capital and operating within, I don't know, within a week or two.
But November, we won't have to have anything due, or maybe December?
Yeah, I don't anticipate having anything of significance.
Good, great.
Definitely not October, perhaps. We'll see what November looks like.
And is everybody good with November?
Yeah, I'll work. I'm in Nashville, but I'll be able to join.
And then do you want to try December 13th, or would you like to wait till next time?
I mean, currently, I don't typically plan that far out, but currently I'm available.
Yeah, I'm too.
I'll just put a placeholder in so that they've got us, and then we can change as we go.
Okay.
That's okay?
I'm just updating my calendar now. Wwmdc, and then you said November 8th, which is Nashville. So okay. Which my daughter's not gonna be happy about.
That she doesn't get to go.
It's father-daughter, but it's the daddy-daughter breakfast. And just put a substitute dad in. All right. Yeah, she wants to go to Pittsburgh with me next week. I'm like, nope.
You a Steeler fan?
Am I? No. It's the one thing with work when you're with kids now, when I wasn't to have kids, man, you do the weekend stay over and get to go to football. But now with kids, man, I'm always flying back. Unless it was a Thursday night game, maybe I'd be able to get to an NFL game, but I don't get to go to NFL games anymore as I travel all these cities. So there's always on Sundays, you know?
Yeah,
Mike, how was vacation?
it was good. Thank you. Not adjusted fully to being back. Would like to stay. Okay. Well then I think I move that we adjourn. Darren,
I second that motion.
am I getting in favor?
Darren Bach in favor.
Okay, great. Well, this is all
Everybody,
good.
All right,
a
thanks,
great
Jane.
night.
Thanks,
I'm not-
Jared.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Thank
read
you,
those
everybody.
right now, by the way, so I'll start reading through that if I have any comments, all right?
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Robbie, for moderating.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.